Welcome to our series called Traditions and Trends, or Traditions versus Trends. What is that all about? Well, there's so often that maybe you hear your friends or you read something on the internet or your parents tell you this is what you're supposed to do because of tradition, but then you do a little searching and you see something that you think, wow, that's different. I never saw that before. So that's a trend. So should you follow tradition? Or should you go with the trend? Well, I'm not going to tell you what you should do. You're going to have to make that decision. But what I am going to do is tell you with all practical information that I've gathered over the last 30 years, what it looks like if you do one or the other. And hopefully this will help you make a decision whether you should follow tradition or a trend. So what are we going to talk about today? We're going to talk about invitations. That is paper invitations versus Evites. So paper invitations, you know what those are. You know, you get it in the mail, you open it up, and there you can feel the actual invitation. And Evites, it's electronic invitations. So the younger generation is used to a lot of things being delivered electronically. So I know that you probably understand what that is, but should you do that or should you stick with tradition? Well, let's talk about both. The key reason that you're going to make this decision is based on why. Why would you send the paper invitations or why would you choose to send an Evite? Well, let's talk about both. So paper invitations, I think maybe could be obvious why you would do it. They're super pretty, right? You can pull it out, you can feel it, and again, it's traditional. A lot of people do it, so that makes sense. What else? Well, let's look at the costs involved. The cost for the average invitation, you could try to do it as low as $2. I've seen them go up into $150 per invitation range. Of course, you can do it anywhere in between, but you need to know that the average really is around $10 per person. And when you start out to look for your invitations, I think you at first will say, I don't think they're going to be $10 a piece. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Well, what happens is you think, maybe you go online and you see the invitations are $1.50 a piece, $2.50 a piece. So you think, oh, okay, that's reasonable. Yes, but that's for what they call the invitation. That's not the RSVP card. It's not your response card. It's not your reception card or your informational card or your extra envelopes, the extra lining or the postage, and the postage for the outer envelope and the postage for the inner envelope. And what if you have an oversized invitation? You could also have an oversized RSVP envelope. So that means you need extra postage. When you add all of these things up, it really does add up quick. $10 is nothing to spend. I mean, it's easy to spend that on an invitation nowadays. So if you don't have that in your budget, but you've already committed to the paper invitation, that can get kind of expensive. So another thing, why would you do paper invitations? Well, people have a physical reminder. A lot of people put these invitations on their refrigerator or on a board, maybe their cork board or their office. So it's kind of like a reminder to have it. So I can see if that's something you're used to. I can see why you might think, well, then people have a reminder. Close family and friends sometimes also will save these. Maybe they have a collection of them. Maybe they have a scrapbook and they like to put it in there. So some of your families and friends may pressure you and say, well, I want to have one so I can keep it. I have a solution to that, so hang on. Also, the RSVP return card. If you don't know what that is, it goes in with your invitation and it will say how many people are coming to the wedding. You get that back, so now you have an accurate guest count, or so you hope. I will tell you, unfortunately, right now, what I experience is you get maybe 30 to 40% of those back, which means you don't know if the other 60% of your guests are coming or not. So even though you think that you're doing that, the paper one, so that you can get it, that doesn't mean you're going to get an accurate count. So let's talk about Evites. Many of the Evites are free. Man, you can't beat that, right? There are some companies that do charge, but the majority of them that I found even if they do charge, a lot of them have a free section as well, but you certainly can get them for free. Let me talk to you a little bit about what that actually looks like, an Evite. It really isn't probably as tacky as it might sound. There are some that you put your whole guest list in there, and you put your email address, put their email address in there, and then you send the Evite. And sometimes what's really cute is it actually, in the invitation, the body of the invitation, you see the envelope and it'll have your name on it. You click on it and it turns around. The envelope top opens and out comes the invitation, and you can customize it, and it has all your information on it. You can click an arrow and then it'll go to the RSVP information. They can RSVP right there, and now that's sent right to you immediately. And it also can have your website with a link on it. I mean, they really have improved so much, and they're so pretty, and they're free. And I have found that we get a much more accurate guest count when we do it that way, because it's so quick. They don't have to put the envelope or the RSVP card on their fridge and try to remember to send it and then take it to the mailbox, which doesn't sound like it's a lot of work, but nowadays it's just not something that we're used to doing very often. So you do get a more accurate guest count with the Evites than you do with the paper invitations. The other great thing is you can deliver these Evites in a wide variety of ways. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it on just Messenger. You can make an invitation, or an event page on your Facebook page. You can send it through an email. You can send it through a text. There's all kinds of ways that you can do it. And you will know who does what. Some people never check their email, so you don't have to send it through an email. Some people maybe are not as great as checking their Facebook Messenger, or maybe they are. So there's all kinds of different ways that you can get it to people, which can make it even quicker to be delivered than in the post office. Because I'll tell you, I check my mail maybe once every 2 weeks, maybe once a month, so I don't get things as often as I could if it was delivered to me electronically. Also, it's really easy for people to set a reminder on their phone or add it to their calendar if they already have it in an Evite. A lot of times you just have to click a link and it puts it right onto your calendar. So now you don't have to have this reminder on your fridge that, honestly, when you have something on your fridge, tell me if you do this, because I know I do. I could put a reminder on my fridge and I look at it so often that I forget about it. And then a month later, I'm like, oh man, I put that up there. So I'd remember, and I still totally forgot. The next thing is, if someone were to lose the information, friends or family can share it so easy. All they got to do is send a link. So the other thing is, like I said, the response rate is a lot easier because it's electronic. Everything seems to be so much easier electronically. Now, here's one thing that's so great about this tip today is you don't have to choose one or the other flat across the board. You can order, let's say, 10, 20 invitations for your family that maybe wants to save it, or for those that don't have email, and then you can do Evites for the rest. That could save you a ton of money. Well, I hope this helped you kind of decipher if you should use one or the other or both. If this has helped you, then I would suggest that you subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss more great tips like this. But even more, I think that it would be great if you need this kind of help, which you all do. You should subscribe to WeddingStateUniversity.com, and I'll see you on the site as a member. I wish you happy wedding planning.